Good morning, everyone. Welcome to First Church of Religious Science. Welcome to all of you tuning in on Zoom. Welcome to all of you who have been here for our meditation and just tuning in. Welcome to everybody also signing in this afternoon and this week on Facebook, YouTube, anyone catching the replay. I'm grateful, or we are all grateful that you're here. Our space is more than a broadcast venue. It's a global gathering of like-minded people, all committed to their spiritual growth, to their healing and transformation. At First Church, we're honored to connect with so many of you each week. We're honored to connect with you across the different platforms. If you're new here, we want to extend a special welcome. This is a place where inspiration meets action, where spiritual principles become tools for everyday living, and where we affirm that every person has the power to create a life that's filled with joy, purpose, and abundance. Our weekly gatherings are Sunday morning today, 10:45 a.m. starts with our meditation, and now our lesson. We explore Sunday's deep spiritual principles and how to apply them in today's world. Every Wednesday, our practitioner James hosts our Creative Living series, where he focuses on practical spirituality and tools to apply these teachings in our day-to-day living. And Thursday evening, I facilitate the Louise self-healing class. This is something I've been doing for many years. We offer it every week at 7 p.m. That's a great place to begin. It's based upon the book, You Can Heal Your Life. Louise Hay was a practitioner here at First Church, so we're continuing on with her great work. And wherever you are listening in the world and whenever you tune in, you're not just discovering us, you're discovering, or however you're discovering us, you're part of this spiritual community. And always the teachings and everything we do is offered freely as on a love offering basis. If anyone feels inspired to support the work we do, there's options in the chat room. You'll see them on the screen. Or if you're watching us via YouTube or anywhere else, Facebook, there are support options there. You also can support us on our YouTube channel by subscribing to our channel for First Church, and that helps us quite a bit too. So let me start off today by saying a spiritual truth. You are in the right place at the right time. So this is the right time. This is the right place, wherever you're connecting with us. And most of all, I want you all to know that you're welcome. Today's theme, the theme I'm exploring is the wonder of you. And I think I've renamed it the miracle of you. It's the same idea. So each of us carries within us an extraordinary creative force. We'll say it different ways from week to week, that you are one with this one energy. You are one with this divine intelligence, and we carry it. And it's always active. It's always evolving. It's always seeking greater expression through you. And the more you become aware of it, the more we recognize it, the more we step into a life that's filled with joy, purpose, and limitless potential. As the poet Rumi said, you were born with potential. You were born with goodness and trust. You were born with wings. You are not meant for crawling, so don't. You have wings. Learn to use them and fly. For far too long, people have been told they're small, they're broken, or they're unworthy. But what if that's not true? What if you're not only good, what if you realize that you're brilliant and you're dynamic and you're filled with creative power? What if every single struggle, every challenge you have faced was not proof of weakness, but an invitation always to rise, to claim something even greater? Today, we're going to be releasing the old stories. We usually bring the subject up week from week. Today, we once again invite ourselves to release the old stories that have held us back or kept us stuck in any way, and step into a new awareness of who we really are. And that is powerful creators. We are divine expressions. We are limitless beings. So let's shake off all these old ideas and old notions, these limiting ideas and beliefs, and step boldly into the truth of our greatness. Came across yet another little poem, The Wonder of You, and it's a simple little poem. It begins with, I see the light within your eyes, a spark that's always shining, a brilliance that no shadow can dim, a heart forever rising. I hear the dreams you've yet to chase, the whispers of tomorrow, the laughter waiting to unfold, beyond the fear, beyond the sorrow. I know the love that lives in you, the kindness vast and deep, the joy that dances in your soul, the promises you keep. And as I stand here now with you, one truth is clear and bright and new. The world is wondrous, bold and free, but the greatest wonder still is you. And so it is. So now I'm going to borrow from a talk given many years ago by Raymond Charles Barker, our founder, the first minister here. And he said in this lesson, the world needs awakened minds. Yes, the world needs awakened minds. So you can look, this is now 2025. Look around. The world appears to be in upheaval. Confusion, uncertainty, rapid change seem to be everywhere. People are searching for meaning, for something solid to hold on to. They're looking for certainty, reassurance, for something that tells them everything is okay, or everything will be okay. But here's the great secret. We already hold the key to it in this teaching. We're not separate from this creative power of life. Again, we're not separate from this creative power. We are not at the mercy of circumstances. We, those of us who really understand this teaching, we are creators of our own experience. Again, we are creators of our own experience. When our attention is on what is good, when we put our focus on the truth of this teaching, that we're inlets and outlets of God activity, when our focus is on that, on what is good, what is true, and the awareness of the divine comes into our consciousness, we bring more of that into the world. Think of the people for a moment that you admire, those who radiate confidence, joy, peace, and wisdom. They're not special in some exclusive way. They have simply chosen to focus on possibility, on what's possible, what's good, rather than on limitation or limitations. They have learned to trust in their own inner resources. They've learned to trust in that connection that they have with Source, rather than fear the unknown. Every single person has this creative force within them. You'll hear Louise often say, deep at the center of our being is this infinite thing, this infinite well. So I'm saying today, every single person has this creative inner essence, this creative force within us. Every person is an outlet for the divine. The only real question is, are you aware of it? And I know anybody on this call is aware of it. So the next question would be, are you using it consciously? Are you inviting spirit in and using this power that you have available? Are you using it consciously, and are you using it constructively? For thousands of years, various religions have taught us that human beings are somehow less. They're broken, or they're sinful, or they're doomed to failure. They need the religion, they need something to fix them or save them, and all of that. You've all heard versions of it, I'm sure. But today, let's set the record straight. You were not born in sin, you were born in brilliance. Again, you were born in brilliance. You were not meant to struggle, you were meant to thrive. Again, you are one with the one. You are meant to awaken. We're all evoluting. We're all evolving. We're all, learning more and becoming more aware. You were meant to thrive. We can go back to the mid-1800s. During that time, at least in terms of metaphysics, there was a revolution in thought. It largely began in that period. Metaphysical teachers that are associated with us, like Emma Curtis Hopkins and Phineas Parkhurst Quimby, challenged the old beliefs that suffering was inevitable, They didn't believe it was inevitable at all. They taught that we didn't come into life to endure life. We have come here to create life, to be co-creators. Decades later, Ernest Holmes built on this foundation by declaring, suffering's not God-ordained. Not at all. In fact, Holmes taught that much of our suffering comes not from life itself. Holmes taught that our suffering comes from our resistance to life. So let's think about it. Life is always evolving, evoluting, moving forward. The universe is constantly evolving. Seasons change, rivers flow, planets orbit, cells regenerate, all without resistance. Yet as human beings, we struggle. Why is that? Perhaps it's because we cling to the past instead of allowing the new to emerge. Maybe it's because we fear change instead of trusting the process of life that Louise often spoke of, Louise Hay. Ernest Holmes often said, we are immersed in an infinite creative presence. Again, Holmes is saying we're immersed in it, and it's always inviting us to expand. But instead of expanding, instead of flowing with this expansion, we often grip on tightly to what we know, to what is familiar, even when doing so works against us. But here's what we learn here at the center, at First Church. Life is not against us. Life is unfolding for us. And as conscious beings, we have been given the extraordinary ability not just to survive, but to co-create with this infinite intelligence. You are not just a body. You are a spiritual being. You are a consciousness. You are a miracle in motion. Unlike any other species that we know of, you have the power to shape reality, not just through action, but through your vision. Animals can procreate, but only humankind, only you can conceive of an idea. Only you can conceive of an idea and imagine possibilities beyond what currently exists, and then bring them into form. So this isn't just about focusing on something. It's about seeing it in your imagination and in your mind's eye. It's about feeling it as though it already exists, and then moving toward it with faith and conviction. History has shown us time and time again that what the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Let's consider some of the greatest human achievements. We can look to the planes in the sky, the Wright brothers. They envisioned flight when others thought it was impossible. Before the first airplane ever left the ground, they had already seen it soaring in their minds. They believed in that vision so strongly that they turned it into a reality. And then there was Thomas Edison. Edison didn't simply hope for a light bulb. He saw it, he envisioned it, he experimented, he refined his ideas, and after 1,000 tries and attempts, he illuminated the world. We can look across the ocean towards Egypt, to the ancient Egyptians who built the pyramids of Giza. These are massive structures, so precisely engineered that they still stand now thousands of years later. And before a single stone was set in place, the blueprint existed in someone's imagination. And today, in my pocket, I can look to my iPhone and think of Steve Jobs, who revolutionized communication. He didn't just dream of a better phone. He envisioned an entirely new way of people connecting, creating, and sharing. Today, that vision sits in my pocket or the palm of your hands. And my point here is this: everything begins in the unseen. Every great idea, every great structure, every invention and work of art existed first in someone's mind before it became reality. The Eiffel Tower, the internet, and the very device you're watching this broadcast on were once just ideas. Someone saw them, believed in them, and took bold action to bring them forth. And just like all these great innovators, You have the same power. Yes, you have the same power. The moment you begin to see yourself not as just a person reacting to life, but as a creator, shaping your life, changing your life, everything then begins to change. Again, you have the same power as all of these innovators, these creators. The moment you begin to see yourself not as just a person reacting to life, but again, as a creator shaping it, everything changes. Every time you focus your mind and every time you set an intention and then take inspired action, you are building your life brick by brick, choice by choice. So let's affirm together. I'm a creative being, shaping my world with clarity and confidence. That's a great affirmation. I'm a creative being, shaping my world with clarity and confidence. I'm not limited by the past. I create something new, something better. Again, I'm not limited by the past. I create something new, something better. These are great affirmations to use. So let's take a moment to let them settle in. Again, I'm a creative being, shaping my world with clarity and confidence. And I'm not limited by the past. I create something new, something greater. Let them settle in. Imagine now what your life would look like if you embraced everything, your power, your ability. Imagine what your life would look like if you embraced your power and more of that creative genius within. What would shift? What do you think would change? How would you become, or how would you be different? Because here's the truth. You are always creating. Life is always responding to you. You're always creating 24/7 every thought you think. The question I want to ask you, though, are you creating joy or are you creating struggle? Are you creating a life that's filled with joy or are you creating struggle? Are you creating expansion or are you perpetuating limitation? Dr. Frederick Bales, one of our early teachers of the science of mind, once wrote, he called it the mopers, the dopers, and the hopers. Yeah, I thought you might like that. Dr. Bales once wrote about the mopers, the dopers, and the hopers. And these are people who he described as people who whine, they wallow, and they wait for life to change instead of changing themselves. So I certainly don't want to be one of the mopers, dopers, or hopers, who he described again as people who whine, wallow, and wait for life to change instead of changing themselves. These are people who say, someday, one day, I'll get around to it, right? Or one day when the time is right, or when the time is perfect. And he said they never take action, but they're always sitting around waiting for things to change, lamenting what is. They get stuck in their old paradigms, their old stories, and they get stuck in complaints. They're repeating the same ideas round and round, hoping things will magically improve. So here's the thing to understand for Mr. Bales. Hope is not a strategy. I repeat, hope is not a strategy. Hope is only powerful when paired with action. How many times have you heard somebody say, I just hope it will get better. I wish it'll get better. And they don't do anything different. They don't take any action at all. They stay in the same job they don't love. They repeat the same patterns that are painful. And they wake up wondering why life hasn't changed. But life doesn't change until we change. Just as the great inventors, the builders, and the dreamers that I spoke of the past saw what it could be before it was, you too can begin to see a greater version of your life unfolding today. You can do it at any time. Each and every moment is a new beginning. And when you do, again, you too can begin to see a greater version of your life unfolding. And when you do, when you trust in that vision and you take a step toward it, you're going to find that life will rise to meet you. Here's the reality. Change requires action. It requires movement. It requires making a decision. And it's also something within you needs to say you're no longer going to wait. The universe is always expanding, always evolving, and you are part of that expansion. So you're meant to evolve, grow, and to step into something greater. The only real question is, are you moving with life or are you resisting life? So say this aloud with me, affirm it with me. I let go of limitation and I step into my power. Again, I let go of limitation and I step into my power. I refuse to play small. I'm here to grow, to shine, and to create. It's a mouthful. I'll say it again. I let go of limitation and I step into my power. I refuse to play small. I'm here to grow, to shine, and to create. Take a deep breath. Let those words settle into your being. This is the truth. This is your truth. This is who you are. You were born to express the infinite. You are one with the infinite. You are more than just a body. You're more than a name. You are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence. Again, you are an individualized expression of infinite intelligence, a point of power in the mind of God, as we always say. So think about this with me. You began some number of years ago as two tiny invisible cells, so small that no human eye could see them. And yet in that moment, something extraordinary took place. Against all odds, these two cells united and a burst of energy was released, a divine spark, an ignition of life itself. From that single moment of creation, an entire universe of you began to unfold. Your heartbeat, your breath, your thoughts, all of it, the miracle of you, set in motion by a force so powerful that it defied the impossible. And yet, how often do we forget that miracle? How often do we shrink ourselves down, letting fear, letting self-doubt keep us from expressing ourselves fully? One of my favorite teachers used to say, "We are in the express business." That was Dr. Bill. We're here to learn, we're here to grow, we're here to learn lessons, we're here to evolve, and we're here to learn to fully express ourselves. We're not here to play small. We're here to reveal something magnificent. That means we're not here to dim our light. We're not here to hesitate or wait for permission. We are here to shine. You can look to nature. Nature never holds back. A tree doesn't say, "I think I'll only grow halfway." The ocean doesn't say, "I don't want to make any waves today." The sun doesn't say, "I'll just shine a little bit." Life is like a ball of energy. It's always moving forward. It never stops. It never hesitates. And you are part of that forward momentum, that motion. So why hold back? Why play small? Who benefits when you shrink? No one. Ask yourself today, what would it feel like to express myself and my full potential? What would it feel like? So I ask it of all of you. Let yourself imagine what it would feel like to fully express yourself authentically, fully express your full potential. The next question I'll ask you is, where do you think you've been holding back? And what might you loosen? Where do you think you've been holding back? And the next question is, what would it look like if I stopped waiting and I started taking action? Now, I know some of you have hope for better days ahead, but I want to say hope alone is not a strategy. One of my teachers, Dr. Bill, used to say, "This teaching is not about wishing and hoping." And then he'd joke, "Now, don't get me wrong, having hope is better than living in despair, but it won't get you very far in the long run. Hope is like a match. It can spark something, but you have to build the fire." How many times have you heard someone say, "I just hope it'll get better," but they never take action? They stay again in the same set of circumstances, and they repeat the same patterns and wake up wondering why things haven't changed. But life will not change until you change. Hope alone is not enough. Hope, again, must be paired with action and positive expectancy. Louise Hay often asked her audiences, "What are you bringing to the ocean of life?" If you show up with a small bucket of expectation, you will only receive a small amount. But if you arrive with a vast open container filled with expectancy, trust, and readiness, life will pour into it abundantly. You see, it's not just about hoping for good things, it's about expecting good things. Just as those two tiny cells burst into life to create the miracle of you, there is an explosive potential within you waiting to be expressed. What if you moved? What if you stopped waiting and wishing, hoping, and started doing something, taking action? You were born to express life. The question is, will you step into it? So let's talk a little bit about releasing our resistance. Right now, let's do a little process. Let's take a deep breath. And as you exhale, imagine yourself letting go of any resistance to your own growth. Ernest Holmes said there is a power in the universe greater than you, and you can use it. That power is within you now. You're not separate from it. You are an expression of this power. Let it move towards your dreams. Let's move towards your dreams with the same unstoppable energy that created your life in the first place. Each of us were born to express the infinite, and the question is, will we step into it? So let's reaffirm this truth together. I'm here to expand. I'm here to express. I'm here to shine. I embrace life fully, knowing that I'm powerful beyond measure. Let's take a breath together. Let's feel the energy moving through us. Know that this is your moment, the moment of choice. And so here we are. We've released resistance. We've embraced possibility, and we've stepped into the truth of who we really are. But now comes the most important part. What will we do with this awareness that we have? Will we carry this truth beyond this moment today? Will we let it change the way we speak to ourselves, the way we walk into a room, the way we dream, the way we create? Because here's the truth. You are not small. You're not insignificant. You, once again, are a miracle in motion. Dr. Holmes reminds us, life is not something to be endured. Life is something to be lived in joy, in a fullness without limit. So let's reaffirm again, I'm powerful. Yes, I'm powerful. I am limitless, and I embrace life fully. Imagine waking up tomorrow, fully aware of your greatness and who you are. How would you carry yourself? Would you speak your dreams aloud? Would you take bold steps like you've maybe been avoiding in the past? What if instead of waiting for a sign, you realized you are the sign? Everything you've ever needed is already within you, waiting for you to trust it, claim it, and express it. So let's reinforce these ideas. You can put your hand over your heart and feel life moving through you with every heartbeat. Feel the energy, feel the intelligence, the wisdom that's always been there. And affirm with me, I choose to release my limits and fully express myself. I'm ready to walk boldly into my next chapter. The world needs my light, and I'm ready to shine. These are more than words. This is a commitment to yourself. I'm ready to walk boldly into my next chapter. The world needs my light, and I'm ready to shine. Again, a commitment to yourself. We're not here simply to exist. This was the main thing in Barker's talk. We're here to expand, we're here to evolve, we're here to create. Every moment you are painting on the canvas of creation. You are the artist, you're the architect. You are the visionary of your own destiny. And the world needs what only you can bring to it. So think about that for a moment. The world is incomplete without your unique expression. Life is always, always evolving and moving forward. And so are you. Life is like an ocean wave. It never holds back. It never second guesses itself. It flows freely, shaping the shore with every moment. It's like a fire that expands, ignites, and transforms everything it touches. It's always evolving, always creating, and always expanding. And so are you. So you can ask yourself also, what would happen if you let go and you moved with life instead of resisting it? What could you create if you trusted the unfolding of your journey completely? So let's breathe all that in. And as you exhale, release any resistance, anything that comes up, release it. Remembering once again what we said before, there's power for the good in the universe, greater than you, and you can use it. So let's release resistance and say, I trust the process of life is unfolding perfectly for me right now. And I have a final challenge for you for this morning. I challenge you, yes, everyone listening to the call, to leave here today, not just inspired, but activated. I challenge you to leave here activated. What's the one thing that you will do differently after today? Just think of one thing. The one thing you will do differently after today. What's the one old story that you're willing to let go of? What is the one bold action that you will take towards greater self-expression? Because if not now, when will you do it? If not you, who? This is your time. The universe is moving, life is expanding, and you are being called to rise. As Ernest Holmes said, dare to be yourself. Stand in the realization of your own divine worth. That's a good thought to leave you with. Dare to be yourself. You're an original. Dare to be yourself. Stand in the realization of your own divine worth. And say yes to your expansion, yes to your growth, and yes to your highest good. So let's turn the cameras over to all of you. What came up for you today? What resonated? This revised Raymond Charles Barker talk entitled, You Are the Miracle, or The Miracle of You. What resonated? What will you take forward? I look forward to hearing from everyone. We have time for everyone to share for a minute or two. If you're new, this is your first time, please let us know so we can say welcome, and I'll see you at the other side of the break. Thank you.